What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for May 25th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Sunday edition of the podcast, Memorial Day Sunday. Coming at you a little bit later. Came home from the Union game last night and actually stayed up and watched some of the Phillies, so slept in a little bit today. But on that note, quick housekeeping. Tomorrow will not be a normal weekday schedule. It will be later like this since it is the holiday. And there's no need for me to get up at 4 a.m. On a holiday. But there will be a show tomorrow. All right, speaking of that Phillies game, what a win, 9-6. They won it in 11. Brandon Marsh with maybe the play of the season, getting the guy at the plate in the bottom of the 10th. To save it where the A's would have walked it off. And then they came back and took advantage of it in the 11th. Schwarber with a 2-run hit. On a night where Christopher Sanchez struggled, only going 4 2/3, struggled with his command a little bit. But the bullpen overall, I would have to say, was solid. Some costly errors, 3 errors for the Phillies yesterday, kind of a sloppy game. But that is 9 in a row, 9 straight against the bottom feeders of Major League Baseball. Look for the sweep today, but that's all right. I'm okay with that. They're doing what they need to do. Jesus Luzardo's on the mound today, so they got a good chance to pull off the sweep. Some news on Aaron Nola. Apparently his ankle injury is taking longer than what they previously anticipated. They don't want to rush him back, but he still has not thrown off a mound yet. Not really sure what to think about that, but we'll see. I mean, the starters have been holding it down. They're going to need to figure out the bullpen because the bullpen was certainly taxed yesterday. They do have a day off tomorrow, which is much needed before welcoming the Braves for a 3-game series and then a quick 2-game set against the Brewers next week. I can already hear it, though, if they can manage to pull off this sweep and then lose the first one against the Braves. Oh, you can't beat any good teams. But we'll see. So let's recap yesterday's question of the day before we get into today's question of the day. I asked you, should the Phillies at least kick the tires on Rhys Hoskins? 69% of you said yes. Those that were against it said no. It's more of the same old, like you're really bringing the old band back together. Some folks said maybe later in the season, but not right now. There's not a need to do it. Again, I'm not saying right now. I'm talking later in the season, but I don't think you can not at least do your due diligence there. So thank you as always for participating in the question of the day. Today's question: Phillies have won 9 in a row against the Pirates, Rockies, and A's. What do we make of that? Is it the wake me up when they play some good teams, or is this an example of the Phillies being a good team doing what they should be doing against the teams that they're doing it against? I think it's more the latter. I think I've been talking this whole stretch about the cupcakes that we see in college football, and I don't think this is any worse than that. You play the cupcakes to get your timing and work out some kinks and get better and things like that, and it's just the way the schedule fell for the Phillies, and to their credit, they've done what they needed to do. If they'd have lost to any of these games so far, I think we'd be in full-blown panic mode, but they haven't. But what do you think? What do we make of this? 9 in a row is 9 in a row. Yes, it's come against some AAA talent, but the way they've done it, doing small things right. I mean, that play by Marsh yesterday was incredible. But let me know what your thoughts are. 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off of your chest. Let's do some quick housekeeping. First, Discord channel is live. First link in the description takes you for the invitation. Come on over and let's have some fun in the Discord channel. Lots of good conversations already happening. So go. It is live. So come on over and hang out. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, @PhilliesJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Check out our friends over at lotwin.com. Get your custom-made 3D hype chains. Lots of hype chains at the Subaru Park at the Union game yesterday. They got you covered. Use the promo code CCCPOD to take 10% off your order. That's lotwin.com. Promo code CCCPOD for your 3D custom hype chains. And then just a quick programming note. The summertime tournament will kick off on June 3rd. We're going to look at the greatest individual seasons in Philly sports history. We've had some fun with this in the past. If you're new, every summer, to kind of pass the time from the end of the NBA, NHL seasons until training camps get ready to open in the NFL, we do a little tournament where you get to vote on your favorite thing, Philly sports. We did the Lovable Losers 2 years ago, teams that were good, lovable, but did not quite get the job done. And then last year we did the Ultimate Philly Sports Nickname with Dr. J taking home, which that was a full-blown 64-team tournament. This one's just going to be a 48-team tournament this year. But we always have some fun with that, so stay tuned for that, kicking off June 3rd, and then leading up to it, I'll do some explanations, the selection committee's thought process, as well as unveiling the brackets. All right, I mentioned the Union. What a game. And I will say, I mean, Subaru Park and the Union, they have a great atmosphere, especially when the team is good. They do it right. It's very kid-friendly. Cooper DeJean came out and beat the drum for them, which was pretty cool to see. Crowd went nuts for Coop. But it was the Union and the Inter Miami tying 3-3. And the Union led 3-1 late in the second half, thanks to 2 Ty Barabo goals, as well as one by Quinn Sullivan. But then Messi remembered who he was after kind of being quiet for most of the game, and had a goal and assist, a goal in the 87th minute, and then assisted on the extra time goal with literally like a minute left in the game. But the Union do get a point. They are sit alone atop of the Eastern Conference standings. But it was a hell of a game. It was great. It was fun to be there with my kids. My daughter, who's such a huge Messi fan, was ecstatic that he scored the goal. We picked a same-game parlay together, which, due to him assisting on that last goal, we did not win. I took the Union on the money line in regulation, a Ty Barabo goal, and a Messi goal. And once the Messi goal happened, I thought we were winning. And then we weren't. But fun time down at Subaru Park. Union get the 1 point to move ahead of Cincinnati in the Eastern Conference standings. A game that really, though, they should have won. But man, if you haven't been down there yet, the atmosphere is electric. It's a lot of fun. Good tailgating atmosphere. Lots of fun inside the stadium. So I highly recommend it. But the Union and Inter Miami tied 3-3 last night at Subaru Park. Be sure to check out my friends at the Clashing Conferences Network, or Clashing Conferences Podcast. Go to clashingconferences.com to see how you can join the Sports Fan Network, what they have to offer, how you can get your voice heard. If you're in need of media services, Steven and the crew over there can certainly help you out with that. Great people. It's been a blast since joining the network. Check out their podcast wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Always a fun show, always a fun time. So go to clashingconferences.com, check out what they have to offer and how you can get involved. You will not be disappointed. And it is Memorial Day. Time to do some shopping at Philly Goat. If you haven't gotten your slides or your hats or your tees for the summertime, now is the time to do it. They have you covered. It's still not too early to start shopping for Dad and Father's Day. Go to Philly Goat. Check out what's on their site. You want to still celebrate the Tush Push. It's been a big week for that. They have a Tush Push collection because, of course, they do. That's what Philly Goat does. So go to Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, May 25th. Got a couple Phillies things and a Flyers things here. So we'll start in 1997 with the Flyers, and they beat the Rangers on this day 4-2. Rod Brindamore with 2 goals. John LeClaire and Eric Lindros each had a goal and assist. Ron Hextall saved 17 of the 19 shots he faced as the Flyers clinched their first first Stanley Cup Finals berth in 10 years down at the Coors State Center, beating the Rangers, setting up that epic, or what we at least thought was going to be epic matchup with the Red Wings, but it was the Red Wings taking care of business. But on this day, Flyers Nation was happy as they beat the Rangers to go to the Stanley Cup 4-2 behind Rod Brindamore's 2 goals, and then John LeClair and Eric Lindros each adding a goal and an assist. Living high. I remember this time well, living large, thinking we're going to win the Stanley Cup. And then they put the Flyers jersey on William Penn, and we all know what happened after that. All right, turning to the Phillies, we got a couple different ones here. Starting first, in 1951, the Phillies lose to the Giants 8-5 at Shibe Park. Granny Hamner and Mike Goliat each homered for the Phillies. But the story of the day was hitting third for the Giants that day was some rookie named Willie Mays making his major league debut. Willie went 0 for 5 in his debut, but did hit the ball pretty well. Took some good plays. And if you're watching this on social media, I clipped part of the article where they talk about it. It took a couple spectacular plays, but Willie Mays came in highly touted and didn't do much. He hit the ball well, but didn't do much offensively this day, going 0 for 5. However, in his career, he would hit .296 with 61 homers and 196 RBI in 363 career games against the Phillies. So I think I would say things got a lot better for Willie Mays after this. But on this day, back in 1951, Willie Mays makes his major league debut against the Phillies in an 8-5 victory for his New York Giants at the time. And a little side bonus in there, Phillies' own Eddie Stanky went 3 for 4 with a double and led off for the Giants on this day. Eddie Stanky, you might remember that name because he was one of the inductees into last year's induction class for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. But it was Willie Mays' debut on this day in 1951. Eddie Stanky, Phillies' own, went 3 for 4 with a double. And then fast forward all the way to 2011, Phillies beat the Reds 5-4 in 19 innings. Wilson Valdez started the game at second base for the Phils, but ended up pitching the top of the 19th. He threw to 4 batters, got 3 fly balls, hit Scott Rowland with a pitch to get the victory as the Phils won it in the bottom of the 19th. Wilson became the first position player to pick up a win since Babe Ruth in let me rephrase that. He became the first position player to start the game in the field and end up with the win since Babe Ruth did it in 1921. So he started in the field, got the win. Nobody had ever done that since Babe Ruth in 1921. But on this day, Phils beat the Reds 5-4 in 19 innings. Wilson Valdez got the win, becoming the first position player to pick up a win after starting in the field since the legendary Babe Ruth. But that does lead to today's trivia question. But before we get into that, yesterday's trivia answer, I said, who was the Phillies' opponent in their first ever night game on June 1st, 1939? The answer to that was the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates beat the Phillies that day 5-2 in the first ever night game for the Phillies at Shibe Park. So today's trivia question, how many position players have gotten wins, been credited with a win since 1961? That's sort of like when things started to shift somewhat, which is why I'm going there. I believe it's that might be when the DH came into play. But how many position players, including Wilson Valdez, have gotten credit for a win in their team games since 1961? That is today's trivia question. It is Memorial Day weekend. We're going to continue now with our Philly Sports Summertime Playlist Song of the Day. And today's song, we're going back to the Phillies, and that is Heavy Metal by Sammy Hagar. It's off his Standing Hampton album after he left Villanova, after he left Van Halen. And this was Jason Worth's walk-up song during the later part of his career in the Philly. Was always a fan favorite. One of my favorite opening riffs, the but great song. Good to get your summertime party started. Heavy Metal by Sammy Hagar is today's Philly Sports Summer Playlist Song of the Day. And of course, as a bonus, we're going to stick with the Van Halen family, and we're going to go with Top of the World by Van Halen. Sammy was back in the band when this song came out, and this is what the Eagles always seem to play after they clinch an NFC championship and a berth in the Super Bowl. Standing on top. So good bonus song, a little bit of a Van Halen feel today with Heavy Metal by Sammy Hagar and Standing on Top of the World by Van Halen. Those are your summertime playlist songs of the day. On this day in 2011, Phillies beat the Reds 5-4 in 19 innings. Wilson Valdez started the game at second base, ended up pitching, got credited with the win. First time a position player started the game in the field, ended up pitching, and got the win since 1921 when Babe Ruth did it. The trivia question, how many position players since 1961 have gotten a win in a Major League Baseball game? In 1951, Willie Mays made his Major League debut against the Phillies, going 0 for 5 in the Giants' 8-5 win at Shibe Park. And then in 1997, Flyers clinch a spot in the Stanley Cup for the first time in 10 years, beating the Rangers 4-2. Rod Brind'Amour led the way with 2 goals. We'll have more on the Phillies as they look to sweep the A's today. I've been telling you all weekend, but please be safe out there. Don't do anything stupid. Be smart. Don't make any dumb decisions. Don't blow off your hand. Don't go drinking and driving, things like that. Just be safe. It's easy to get caught up in it, but just don't do anything dumb. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 25th, 2025. My name's Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Sunday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.